All right, here we go. We are going to make this just slightly more complicated now in this next example. So what is going to be the added complication here? Well, the added complication is going to be that I am losing money when in my car rental business. So let's say I'm losing money because 50 cents per kilometer is not enough for me to cover all of the costs of running my business. So let's say for part B, not only am I going to still charge you 50 cents per kilometer driven, but I'll say Mr. P will now also charge each customer, including you, let's say $100. Yeah, $100 up front in order to rent the car. So the key word here is also, right? So not only am I charging you per kilometer driven, but I'm also charging you a $100 fee up front in order to rent the car. And now here's the question. Find the new equation that relates the cost of the car rental to kilometers driven. Now, we've already defined our variables with symbols, right? We know, first of all, that the cost is equal to some multiplier times how many kilometers we've driven. The multiplier, again, the multiplier is going to be the same, right? I haven't changed how much I charge each customer per kilometer driven. But now with this new piece of information, right, I'm charging $100 up front as well. So not only am I charging you for, this is just the cost of driving, but there are two different costs, right? Not only is there the cost of driving, but there's also, in addition to this cost of driving, there's also the $100 upfront cost. So this is the upfront cost. So here in this particular equation, what we've done is we've accounted for all of the costs that we will incur, right, for the pleasure of renting this car. We have taken into account the cost of driving as well as the one-time upfront cost. This isn't going to be a multiplier in front of some new variable, right? We don't have to say this is plus 100 times the upfront cost to you or anything like that. $100 is the upfront cost, right? It doesn't change based on some new variable that we would try to introduce. So this is it. This is the new equation. And I just want to write it more cleanly, so I will take away the descriptions and give it a nice little box to live in. This is our answer. So this is the new equation that describes the relationship between the cost of renting the car and how much you would end up driving the car. Now, let's actually try one more question here. So just one more. So let's do part C. So let's say you rent the car and end up driving an enormous amount. Let's say 1,000 kilometers. So you go on a really long trip. How much did this cost you? Or in other words, how much did you end up paying Mr. Petersen for that car rental? So luckily, we have a really, really nice equation that we can right, that relates how much you drive to the cost of the rental, we know that we ended up driving 1,000 kilometers, so that's our D value. And in fact, that's the value that should go into our D variable. So we will substitute that in. So C equals 0.5, which is the cost per kilometer, times how many kilometers we drove, 1,000, plus the $100 upfront cost. And so what will this be? Well, 0.5 times 1,000 is just 500. Then we just add 100 to that, and the total cost of this car rental will be $600. There you go. That's how much it would cost. How did we figure that out? Well, we had this really, really nice, convenient equation that related distance driven to how much it will cost you overall. So all we really had to do was plug one number in, do some math, and then, hey, there's our answer. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of an idea on how to build equations given some pieces of information in some word question. This is a common kind of word question that you might see in the workbook, and there is actually a question just like this in the workbook. It's actually the last example given in chapter 4-1, so please give that question a try and see if you can apply what you've learned in these videos to that particular problem.